now, John.
Bye.
Good evening, it's August 9th, 2025. It's my pleasure and distinct honor to be speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
You're looking well, you're looking chipper. I like your new green sweatshirt
Yeah,
or sweater. So you're having a nice day?
yeah.
Did you have a good dinner?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Reading Mr. Jeckovich's book titled Their Mother's Sons. And how many pages?
849.
One big, beautiful book. How many years did it take you to write it?
6 months.
6 months. I know you don't have a Google account. I know you don't have a laptop. How did you write this thing out?
Yellow pages.
Yellow legal pads.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so impressed of all the details you have from 80 years ago, people's middle names, members of the service you're with, first and last names, and their ranks, addresses. It just goes on and on and on. It's a big, beautiful book, and it has so much good information in it. We already read the book once. To the entirety. It's on every one of Mr. Jeckovich's YouTube from the beginning to end. And now we're at the second time around, and we're on chapter 8, and this chapter is titled Crossing the Channel. Crossing the Channel. This is a beautiful book for many reasons, simply because it's written from Mr. Jeckovich's age of 11, taking care of his mother, the sole caretaker of his mother. That's why the book is titled Their Mother's Sons, to her demise at 89 years old. It takes him through all phases of his life, from a paper boy, from working at the movie theaters, to going and drafted into the war, working at Kimberly-Clark for 35 years, and being married. How many years were you married?
69.
Yeah, 69 long and wonderful years. So we can learn a lot from this book. We can learn a lot from Mr. Jeckovich, because his mind is like the library. How much is the book, and where can we buy it?
Can't sell it.
Not for sale. It's not for sale then, now, or ever. The book is simply written as Mr. Jeckovich's way to share knowledge for younger people to have a bigger and better life, and primarily a more wholesome life. That's the problem, wholesome life. Young husbands and wives are working around the clock, doing things they don't want to do. That's called grinding it out, and they still don't have enough money to pay the bills. So there's some ideas in here on how to have a simpler and maybe a wholesome life. Because life can be beautiful, but you need that right formula. And many times, most people don't find it. Most people will never find it. So, Mr. Jeckovich was in Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Wow. So, in order for me to open up my laptop to start reading your book, I'll need the passcode. The passcode is your dog tag.
42965.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, we're on page 226. It's titled Crossing the Channel, and Mr. Jeckovich is with his 4th girlfriend in World War II. Wherever he stops in the United States, Paris, Wales, Haverford West, he's a lucky man. He finds a nice girlfriend. So this is his final days with her, because he's going the front line right now. And so we'll pick it up from there. This lady girlfriend's name is called Jean Rowland Young. It took us about 3 or 4 hours to traverse the 15 to 18 miles to Milford Haven on a rather casual, unhurried jaunt. The temperature was a cool 40 to 45 degrees, but there was a moderate southwesterly breeze coming off the sea, which it made feel cooler. Jean had brought along a sweater and put it on during our first break. I could not help but noticing her attractive figure she presented. She must have guessed what I was thinking, so she turned towards me and squinted her nose up in a manner that she got on her bike. After reaching Milford Haven, we walked the bicycles to cool down, and Jean pointed out a place of interest. So Jean was in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
She rode her bike
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
No cars.
No cars.
Whole
No.
family rode their bike.
Yeah.
So maybe at times when you might be winded on going up hills and down hills, she was not winded.
No.
She was used to it.
Yeah.
Even though you've been training for 3 or 4 months in the Army with 25-mile hikes, she was still
He's still in good shape. Yeah.
very impressive shape, yeah. After reaching Milford Haven, we walked our bicycles to cool down, and Jean pointed out the places of interest. She indicated the most prominent ones, St. Catherine's Church and the Meeting House. St. Catherine's Church, was that Presbyterian?
Presbyterian. Yeah.
And many floral gardens throughout the town. So even during the war, they had floral gardens?
What?
Even during the war, they had floral gardens? Floral gardens.
Floral.
Floral. Flowers? Flower gardens?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Even during the war?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be damned.
23 minutes.
She asked me if I was getting hungry, and I nodded in the affirmative. She only smiled and proceeded to continue giving me a cook's tour of the town. Finally we stopped, and I could see directly to our front what appeared to be a former farmhouse. The sign over the entrance, printed in bold English-style lettering, stated this was the Sir Benefor, the family inn. How was the Sir Benefor family inn?
Charge to Benefor.
Yeah, how was that? She took you on a bike ride to the Sir Benefor family inn.
That's an inn.
Yeah, how was it? Nice?
Nice, yeah.
As we entered, I could see that it was just that, a former farmhouse, ideally transformed into a comfortable, relaxing country inn. The several dining rooms were tastefully refurbished with large wooden beams at the ceiling and a great deal of cypress paneling through each room. Would you be able to smell the cypress? Was it
Yeah, yeah.
nice? Yeah. There was a roaring fire in each of the huge fireplaces. Their large stone mantels displayed many photographs of people who were once important in this town. The meal was first rate, with a heavy emphasis placed on fish, which was only natural, being so close to the sea.
Yeah.
When you're in Haverford-West, do you smell the sea air?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever have a mist of the sea?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. The view of our table looking out on the huge picture windows was magical, as it afforded us almost a complete panorama of the coastline and the large ocean-going vessels in the harbor. Were all the large ocean-going vessels in the harbor, were they all military?
No, they're civilian. They're going back and forth. They're bringing stuff to different countries.
Okay. I also saw several troop ships in the dull grayish hue, anchored away out, waiting their turn to unload the human cargo.
Yeah.
Before they embark, when you're on a troop ship, they make you stay in your bunk, right?
Yeah.
You can't go up top.
No.
And so you might stay in your bunk many, many hours, right?
Yeah.
And how was the conditions in the bunk?
Well, the crowded.
Crowded.
3 high.
And you were below the water level?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really tight.
Yeah.
Even though it was cold, temperatures in that time, in the bunk area is very hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the nicest conditions,
No, well,
right?
yeah.
When the server wheeled into the pastry wagon to our table, I was amazed at the selection presented and to sample each and every one of the appetizing, dainty morsels. So you had a pretty good assortment, right?
Yeah. Very good cooks.
Yeah. Did Gene ever cook for you?
No.
No. We enjoyed the atmosphere and the outstanding scenery as we sat there peering out a large picture window. Gene looked in and said, "You'll be leaving shortly, won't you?" Yeah. At first I said nothing, but took another bite of a crisp, delicate pastry that was on the pastry tray. I looked out at the sea as it churned and fermented against the shoreline and the large troop ships. I thought of the time I had come into the port only a few short weeks ago, thinking of only Anne and how I could get back to her safely. I turned to Jean and repeated what I had said several days ago. The advance party, staff?
No, he's
No
there.
staff here?
No, he's there.
Do you want a coffee?
No.
How come every time I turn around, we have 4 or 5 people working for us setting up this equipment, and I want a coffee, there's no one around.
Yeah.
All right, we can do without it, I guess. I don't know why they all take breaks at one time, my God. One at a time, I tell them. If I want something, please bring it to Mr. Jeckovich. Here we go. In a short while, we'll be gone. Wait, let me pick this up better. The advance party, that's the party that comes for the military and sets up the next place you're
For the
going.
next place, yeah.
Yeah. And left for the continent several days ago. It was only a matter of time we'd be gone. So the advance party is getting set up, and then soon you'll be gone. There were no advisory, no time goodbyes. Advance party.
17.
Advance party. You hear that? Are you listening?
Yeah.
Advance party.
Okay.
You wanted that word.
Oh, yeah. Advanced party.
There'll be no advisory, no time for goodbyes, and we'd be restricted in a short time, we would be gone. So they're not going to give you notice, they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
And if you ask the supervisors or the high-ranking soldiers where we're going, what would they tell you?
They won't tell you nothing.
They won't tell you nothing,
No.
right? No. And the mail you sent back to your mother, the V-mails, those were all censored.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing, huh?
Yeah.
She murmured, "What a cruel and inhuman way to depart." This is what Gene's saying. "Not even giving you consideration to say goodbye." That's how the military is, right?
Yeah.
When they tell you to go, you go.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have time to go kiss your girlfriend and see your
They go
family.
around and shake everybody's hand.
They tell everyone to go, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's the way it is. That's the way it should be. I retorted that that was the Army's way of doing things, and it was mainly for security. As I stated these words, I fully well know that the enemy intelligence was aware of our moment and a great deal more. So the enemy intelligence knew what you're doing anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was the enemy intelligence part of the SS?
No, they're intelligent outfit there, yeah.
I see. I whispered that it was getting late and we had several hours of riding to do yet. She smiled and said that she would be only a minute to freshen up a bit. I nodded and smiled at her as she departed. As I sat there waiting for Jean's return, I thought of how much I'll miss all of this. The visits each evening, the talks we have, and the romantic interludes. How I look forward to seeing her, anticipating how she would look, and finally her loving parents. So she had a nice set of parents. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I settled up with the server and gave her a generous gratuity, as she'd been considerate and efficient. Jean came back in a short order. As she walked towards me, I was struck at her graciousness and her loveliness. The thought raced through my mind that there were available rooms upstairs, and I wondered how she would react if I approached her regarding the feasibility of this idea. Oh boy. The ride back seemed much faster than slow, meandering we had experienced coming down. It was almost dark and we reached the town's limits. Jean wanted to go straight up to the cottage rather than spend time at the dance that was in progress in the auditorium. So there was a dance going on.
Yeah.
And she just said, "Now let's just go spend some time at the cottage." Makes sense, makes sense. As we reached the front gate, I started to open it for her. She hesitated momentarily, whispered ever so softly, "Let's walk over to our favorite spot, the benches overlooking the town." I agreed and put my arm around her waist and kissed her on the cheek as we made our way toward the benches. We sat there listening to the heavy bombers that came overhead. So now you're at Haverford West, you're sitting on the park bench in the town, and what are you seeing overhead?
And Spitfire's going over.
Raising hell.
Yeah.
Flames?
And blue blades from out the exhaust.
Oh, jeez. We sat there listening to the heavy bombers that came overhead and faded into the silence as they reached the channel. Jean sat close to me, her head buried in my shoulder, and the scent of her perfume reminded me of other occasions, thousands of miles away in another world. What were you thinking of back there at the inn just before I left? She asked as she fingered the zipper on my field jacket. I pretended I did not understand, but reluctantly said that I wanted to take her upstairs. And thought better of it, yeah. I was waiting for her reply as I was curious about her reaction, but she said nothing. I tipped her head up and kissed her. Then she put her arms around my neck and whispered, "I would have gone with you." I was flabbergasted at the revelation and utterness. I drew her apart and looked at her. "Say that again," I blurted out. She once again snuggled into my chest. "You didn't ask, so I'm not repeating myself." With that, she reached up and kissed me, and I was then that I realized I had hidden my true feelings about Jean from myself, but some strange mystical force had no difficulty in transferring my true feelings to her. With that, she jumped up and began running to the cottage, shouting over her shoulder, "Let's have some tea. I'm chilled and cold." All the tea there is hot, right?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Well, that tea's hot, yeah.
Do they use sugar?
No.
Do they use any cream?
No cream, no.
Just straight tea?
Yeah.
I'll be damned. I followed her into the parlor where the Youngs were sitting and reading.
11.
I followed her into the parlor where the Youngs were sitting and reading and half dozing off. Jean noticed to her mother, motioned to her mother, and said she would make some tea before I left. Mr. Young was half asleep, as well as embarrassed, having been caught napping. I found it amusement and very homey. He apologized and made an attempt at some sort of conversation with Mrs. Young, saying a few words intermittently. Jean brought the tea tray into the parlor and served each of us, then sat down beside me. She knew her parents were attempting to be talkative and realized, but they were not having much success. The hour was late and they were caught off balance with the steady nightly guest in the house. I did not blame them one bit for their discomfort, and an invasion of their privacy. I realized that if it was probably for the best that we were leaving shortly. I had imposed on these good people and their hospitality for too long of a period. They too had surmised, and rightly so, that no true, meaningful, lasting relationship could come between Jean and me in such a short time. Perhaps things would have been different if I was stationed here permanently, where had I heard that before. After a short while, Jean said that I had to return to the billets, and I said goodbye and good night to the Youngs and thanked them again for everything. We stepped out into the cold air night, and Jean began to hug me to keep warm. I asked her if I'd see her tomorrow, and she replied, a bit perturbed by my question, "Of course, what would make you think differently?" She then explained the plans tomorrow. Sunday I'd meet her here about 1300 hours, walk about the nearby park, visit the canteen in town, and come back here for supper, and then go back down to the dance. "What do you think of that plan?" she exclaimed, pressing her head against my chest. "It sounds great," I replied. "I look forward to it." We kissed several times. As I held her, I mentioned that it was getting late. She agreed, but would not let me go, as she continued to hold me ever so tightly. We stood there interlocked for several minutes, when suddenly she reached up and kissed me and let me go, and said she would see me tomorrow. With that, she walked quickly to her front door, turned and waved, and entered the cottage. I reached the orderly room to sign in, and the CQ was asleep. Did you ever sign in late?
Oh, yeah.
You were late sometimes?
Well, yeah, you got to allow for your time.
But were you always on time?
Oh, yeah.
So you never were late?
No.
Okay, good. Minutes?
7.
Who's the CQ?
It's in charge of quarters.
Okay. I did not even know who it is, as his head was covered with part of a blanket. It was cool in the room, as the fire in the fireplace was almost out. I hurriedly went to the billets to get my toilet articles, and was soon back up the hill to the shower building. So you got back to the billets, and now you had to go outside again. You had to go outside again and walk up a steep
Hill to get upstairs,
in a
yeah.
shower. How many miles was that?
About 2 miles.
Oh my God. That's to take a shower. Having only washed up and brushed my teeth, I was back at the billets and in my bunk by 01:45 hours. I thought the day's event and wondered what Ann was doing at this very moment. As I tried to transpose the difference in the time I fell asleep, sound asleep. The first call for breakfast was at 04:54 hours. So you're up at 5 o'clock in the morning again.
Yeah.
You didn't have much sleep.
No.
Jeez. And, well, you don't sleep much now, do you?
Huh?
What time do you go to bed now?
No time I go to bed now?
Yeah.
Well, 10 o'clock.
I thought you stay up to midnight.
Huh?
I thought you stay up to midnight.
No.
And what time are you up in the morning?
7:30.
So you're still on short hours. You still get much sleep. But at work, he's 100 years old. Who am I to say any different? Who am I to make a suggestion? No, I'm not. I'm not the person. It all worked for him. Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925. And right now, we're 2025. He's knocking on the door of 100. Right? Perfect shape. 100 years old. Reads 3 newspapers in the morning with no glasses. Enough power in his right hand to shake it. Shake your hand and knock you to the ground. Never took a prescription. Never took a vitamin. Jogged for 80 years. Did you ever drink?
No.
Did you ever smoke?
No.
There he is. There he is.
Jeans.
Who am I to give a suggestion that you're not sleeping enough? No, I'm not the person. He can sleep the way he wants. Apparently it worked. It worked well. He's 100 years old. So forget about that suggestion. I gave up. I got up and went to the shower and shaved. On my way back, I met Larson. Was Larson a good guy?
Yeah, it talks about it.
Talk too much?
Yeah.
Okay. We talked a while, and he wondered where I'd been keeping myself. I told him that I was around and we're just probably missed one of each other coming and going. He said that was very likely, as he'd been spending considerable time at the regimental headquarters visiting his cousin. He also mentioned that he usually got a jeep ride to the Wolf's Castle, where the regimental headquarters were billeted. He also said that when a return trip was no problem, and there was a regular carrier between regiment and the various companies. Just then his ride arrived, and he stated that he would see me at the dance tonight. Larson had a little of late in his makeup. Even though I liked him, I could not tolerate him for only for a short while.
Yeah.
So you couldn't take him that long.
Yeah.
Minutes, please.
Three and a half.
Waiting to meet Jean, I wrote several letters, one to my mother and Sally. Sally's your sister, right?
Yeah.
And the other one to Ann. As I wrote the letter to Mother and Sally, I was struck by all that happened to me in a period of just 1 year. Wow. I was definitely not the same person that left home for the Army in late January. I was more mature, more so than most of the people in my company who are my age. I had acquired more self-esteem, most likely from knowing both Ann and Jean, and I was more aware of what I wanted to do the rest of my life. Oh yeah. Providing I was afforded the opportunity to live through the next year or so. As I thought about these events, it never occurred to me how I was to reconcile or compromise my past life with my newfound enlightenment and understanding. So, what do we miss?
2.5.
So, let's talk about this. So you're still getting ready to go to the front line.
Yeah.
But at this point, you've been in the Army a year, and you haven't seen combat yet. You're in all these different states and countries in training, right?
Yeah.
And now the advanced group went out across the channel,
Yeah.
and now it's going to be your time.
Yeah.
So they usually train the troops a year before they go to war?
No, they didn't train. They just refresh their minds on stuff.
And so that's what took place with you?
Yeah.
Out of all the places you were at, Paris, Haverford West,
Belgium.
which place did you like the best?
I like Paris the best.
You did?
Yeah.
They had many cars there, right?
No.
They didn't have many cars?
Bicycles.
Even then. And it's amazing that the Germans that occupied Paris for 5 years, and you guys ran their asses back to Berlin, that they didn't blow up the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Minutes?
He went to the Eiffel Tower, didn't he?
Yeah.
1 in 10 seconds.
And it's funny, when the Germans occupied Paris, the French were still operating the Eiffel Tower, and Hitler wanted to go to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and the Frenchmen operating the tower said a white lie. They said everything's busted.
Huh.
So the only way up would be stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wasn't Haverford West on the top of your list?
Yeah.
Or you said you liked Paris better?
Paris?
Yeah, you like Paris better.
Oh, Haverford West was a small town.
You wouldn't like that?
No.
You came from where? What city were you born in?
Niagara Falls. That was a farm town.
Yeah, but that's a small town now. Wouldn't you want to move back there?
Where?
Niagara Falls?
No, it's a dump
30
town.
seconds.
It wasn't, explain to us what it was like when you were a boy in
It
Niagara
was a
Falls.
beautiful little city. Beautiful little city.
Describe your street.
Everything was clean. Everything was all made up. I loved living there. But after I came back, it was all dumped up.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
What do you think happened?
Huh?
What do you think happened to the city?
Well, what's his name? The